I want to talk because let's talk about this producer thing, man.
Let's get it in.
Because trap music, Ti's sophomore album, and we're gonna talk about a little bit of that, hopefully in the course of the conversation too. It turned 19 years old today, and I was listening to the album, and sonically, obviously certain things age better than others, whatever, whatever. And I've always thought Doing My Job is a special record. And that was produced by Kanye West. And I listened to the rest of the album, love the album. I think trap music is a classic. I think it did certain things for the city that a lot of people don't see outside of the city, but we'll get to that in a second. But just where he was going perspective wise on that record in relation to most of the other records on there, because he had some other records where he was digging in, but I feel like Kanye's MO as a producer from day one, this is 2003, right? Yeah. From day one, he pulled things out of artists introspectively and pulling a level of vulnerability out of artists that other producers aren't able to get out of those same artists and just artists of that kind. I think in the previous show we talked about Dr. Dre's style and why he's able to, take on new artists and basically mold them around him. I kind of mirrored him to Coach K, might have been inaccurate in that, but just being a system oriented
I get,
person
I get what
where,
you were saying, though.
yeah,
I got
where,
what you were saying. You were trying
yeah,
to give praise, actually.
yeah,
It,
yeah, yeah. He's a
yeah.
system oriented guy where Kanye's able to kind of meet you where you're at. And everything that people say in the comments and all that, people are like, okay, well, y'all don't know the difference between a producer, beat maker, this, that, and the third. Well, I wanted to ask today, what do we look for in a hip hop producer, and why do we minimize the role of people being a beat maker as opposed to being a producer? What in hip hop culture specifically, what makes a producer over a beat maker?
Okay, so I think we have the opportunity to unpack some things because when you made that comment, I immediately thought about NBA coaches when you originally made the comment. I
Hmm.
immediately thought about NBA coaches when you made it. And you're not totally
Dr.
wrong.
Dre's a college coach. You're right. You're right. Dr. Dre operates as a college coach as
No,
opposed
listen
to
to
an
what
NBA coach.
I'm So what I want to do is okay, who do you think are the five best coaches ever in basketball? Pro or college?
Whew,
I think
man,
Coach K is in that conversation.
definitely. I mean, I think you have to, based on. Let's just do it on based on who we've seen, right? Because I didn't see Red Arrow. I
Right.
didn't. Um, I've always been impressed with Larry Brown. I've always
Me
been
too.
impressed with Greg Popovich. I've always, it is what it is. Phil Jackson is who he is. Like
Okay.
you can't skip him over. I've always, thought Chuck Daly was a great coach, and I've always thought Pat Riley was a great coach too, in the sense of how he's able to motivate these guys. Even
Okay.
seeing what Pat Riley was able to do with a very offensively challenged Knicks team.
Okay. So everybody that I was writing on my list while you were talking, you were saying all of their names, and I was literally typing all of those people down
Hmm.
because I agree with you, except for Chuck Daly, and Chuck Daly gets understated and underrated. He is the head coach of the '92 Dream Team,
Hmm.
and for a reason.
For a reason.
So, but I would still put him outside of the top five. But your
And
top
Coach
five and
K
my
was
top
one of his
five,
assistants.
huh?
Coach K was one of his assistants.
That is correct. I had the basketball card where Coach K was one of his assistants because Christian Laettner was on that team. I'm a Duke fan.
Hmm.
My top five is like your top five. It's Coach K, Phil Jackson, Pat Riley, Larry Brown, Greg Popovich. What if I were to tell you between those five guys that if I was really picking the top two in terms of just coaching, well, I would pick Pat Riley or Larry Brown. And some of it is about what you said about Pat Riley, because some of it applies to Larry Brown. Well, it's like, well, Larry Brown is an NCAA championship winning coach and an NBA Finals winning coach.
Yeah.
Larry Brown, from a fundamental aspect, I don't care what you say. Like, I mean, and I just remember this. Well, he undressed Phil Jackson with a vastly inferior team. And that is always going to stay in my mind.
Mm-hmm.
Pat Riley has done more diversified in the NBA than anybody in NBA history. He ran a fast break, flashy finesse team to 4 of their 5 titles in the 80s. He ran a New York Knicks team that is probably one of the toughest teams probably the toughest team since the Bad Boy Pistons.
Mm-hmm.
And if not for Michael Jordan, probably does have at least 1 ring. And then there is the Miami Hall, where he has been able to lure the likes of Shaquille O'Neal. He is the man who is responsible for drafting Dwayne Wade, who went 5th and had no business even going 5th even in that draft, because even in that draft, he should have went 2nd. Even in that draft, he should have went 2nd.
Nah.
History has proven that he shouldn't have went 2nd in that draft. I mean, who's better from that class?
No, you're right. History has proven that, but based on what we saw up in to that time, Carmelo should have been 2nd in that draft. But I know what you mean.
I hate to tell people this. By the time that rookie season was over and the playoffs started and Dwayne Wade was hitting playoff game-winning shots as a rookie, oh no, I knew who the 2nd pick was supposed to be, because rookies don't hit playoff game-winning shots unless they're Magic, right? And so, but Larry Brown for me is probably the best pound-for-pound basketball coach ever. And so, what I would submit to you is, who's most like Larry Brown?
As a producer?
Yeah, because I think it's Kanye.
I think it's Kanye.
Think about the
too.
connection.
I think it's Kanye too.
Because it's AI. Think about it. He AI's MVP season, the worst team to ever make the finals. Who coached that team?
Yeah.
Who got Rasheed Wallace to calm down long enough to get a ring out of him and actually get him back to a finals in a Game 7 against Tim Duncan? He literally got this man to play well for 2 straight years with no problem, except for 1 bad play in Game 7 against Tim Duncan.
I think that Sixers team that with AI on it is probably the 2nd worst team I've seen get to the finals.
The worst.
I think that first LeBron James.
Nope. Larry Hughes is on that team.
Well, we could say with the Sixers they had Mutombo on that team. They
Larry
had the
Hughes
defensive player of the year.
Scorer. Mutombo's not a 20-point per game scorer.
I feel you. Now, offensively, yes. But what I was going to say is
averaged 12 rebounds.
You know what? I just say that the fact that Larry Brown was coach of the year. Larry Brown was coach of the year. I think Kembe was defensive player of the year, right? You had the MVP, and I think they had the 6th man of the year, Aaron McKee.
And they only had Dikembe half the season because they traded Theo Ratliff, who was leading the league in blocks.
You're right.
So that's part of why that was his greatest coaching job, too, is because they literally switched centers mid-season and still made the finals.
Let me get to these super chats real quick, and we're going to really get to our points. LP says, we get addicted to the act of smoking. This helps. Yeah, yes. I was told that as well by the rep. He was saying that just the motion in itself is what people are addicted to, and that can kind of substitute.
Being able to have something to grab in those moments.
Mm-hmm.
No, for real, like all jokes aside, there have been times where literally there's probably been 2 or 3 times that I probably snapped on this show in the past 4 months because I've been kicking the whole nicotine habit and I haven't had anything to grab because, I haven't been smoking. And it's not good to put like nicotine and cigarette type devices back in your mouth until you've kicked it.
Yeah.
You got to kick it. Because it really, if you don't kick it, it's just going to make you go back to smoking. You won't feel as bad about smoking a cigarette.
Yeah.
You feel me? Like one of these other products that we got, I told you, Mike, I had like a whole 15-minute conversation with myself on my back porch because it's essentially in cigarette form. And I was like, I haven't touched that in like 2 years because I've been on a vape for a year. And you know what I mean? I ain't seen a cigarette in 2 or 3 years. I was like, I had to get off of those, but that's something that had happened. So it's psychological. It is.
LP with the super chat says, in hip hop, beat maker is greater than producer. I agree with that. And me and Cooper talking about this offline. I think that from a traditional sense, Dr. Dre is probably the only, I guess I won't say the only, but the most notable producer that we acknowledge on that high level in hip hop who's not really known to be a beat maker. But everybody else, from DJ Premier to Pete Rock to Jay Dilla, even Kanye in a sense, these guys are beat makers. And we even went on a whole tirade about Puff because he is a producer in a traditional sense, but he's not a beat maker. He's not there with the machines, actually creating the sounds. And I agree with that notion that beat makers in hip hop, in this genre, trump producers. What do you think
So,
about that?
so here's what I would tell you. Dr. Dre is Phil Jackson. The RZA is Pat Riley. Kanye West is Larry Brown. Like Pete Rock. Pete
I
Rock.
view Dre as more of a Popovich. He
No.
put you in his system.
See, Popovich, people have to understand. Popovich never had a system. He had Tim Duncan. That was his system.
That's fair. Bill Belichick. He had Brady.
I was just trying to keep it. That's what I'm saying. It's just like, no, he didn't have a system. He had Brady. Now there's a system. You feel what I'm saying? Yeah. Coach K has an actual system.
Mm-hmm.
Bill Jackson has an actual system. And so that's DJ Premier and Dr. Dre. An actual system, actual formula that they have that's been proven to work, that worked for them at an extended period of time at a very high level. I look at Popovich as more like Pete Rock or Jay Dilla.
Why?
You feel me?
Why?
Because it's like, it's more like
style thing.
Well, look at all the players that you put with them. It always seems good when they come through that offense, don't it?
It does.
Just like Pete Rock and Dilla. It's like, don't it just seem like when people rap over those beats, they sound a little bit better than they sound over other people's beats sometimes? That's kind of like being in Popovich's offense. It's like, well,
he's going to elevate, your offensive capabilities.
People don't realize this. Kawhi hasn't been as good on the offensive and defensive end at the same time since he left that system. Now, has he?
Well, not consistently, no.
Manu Ginobili's a Hall of Famer in that system. Tony Parker's a Hall of Famer in that system. David Robinson's a Hall of Famer in that system. Tim Duncan's a Hall of Famer in the system. Sean Elliott made an all-star team in that system. Avery Johnson made an all-star team in that system.
Now, I think that David Robinson and Duncan are Hall of Famers regardless. But I will say this. If Manu Ginobili played for the Atlanta Hawks, he wouldn't be a Hall of Famer.
They made Kawhi. I don't care what you said. The player that Kawhi is, he owes all of that to Greg Popovich in that system. He was not that guy. They literally cultivated him and made him that player. And they had time and space to do it because they had other players like Tony and Manu and Tim who were already ingratiated into the system so well. Think about this. LaMarcus Aldridge, DeMar DeRozan, everybody looks good in the system. If you're a basketball player, you look good in that system. DeJounte Murray, who's now part of the Hawks, just made the all-star team in that system.
Ethan Hill says Mike Dean and Gaffestein helped Kanye. Listen, I want to get to that notion too because a lot of guys have help. Now, this is what I'll say about Dre, and I want to kind of point out 2001 because you could really hear it on that album. He's telling everybody how to rhyme. Everything is space in there. Like 2001, that album is about space. Like you can really hear it, even in the drums of like Explosive. But
yes.
Even in the rhyme patterns, everybody's like clapping their hands, stomping their feet. Every now and then they put their mouth on me. Everything is about space. You can really hear it on the LA niggas song too. Where it's like doom, 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 and everybody's rapping like that too. But when they're on their own stuff, they're not rapping like that. It's clear that Dr. Dre is, I don't want to say dictating how to approach those records, but he's orchestrating how the rappers are rhyming. Now, when it comes to somebody like Kanye, again, you know what? I will say this. I think he probably gave Common some sort of influence on the corner because certain flows I never heard Common really do until then. Black church services, murderers, Arab serving burgers, it's cats with gold permits. Like, you could hear his influence, but I feel like Kanye's able to kind of meet the artists where they are a little bit more and get things out of them that from an emotional or more of a relatable standpoint, the other producers aren't able to do. I think Dr. Dre gets the best out of you sonically, but not, from an emotional standpoint, if that makes any sense.
That would make him the best technical producer.
That's
It's
what
like
that's what I kind of deduced. I think Dr. Dre
so
might be the best technical producer, but
right.
what do we
So
want our
he's running.
producers to
But
do?
listen,
Yeah.
he's running a very specific system, just like Phil Jackson's triangle offense. It's very specific, and the offense. Listen to what I'm about to say. Well, that offense only looks good when you have all-time great players in it. The offense when Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen are running the top part of the offense, or when you have a Kobe Bryant and a Shaquille O'Neal at the top and the bottom part of this offense, and you can angle it from the side, from the wing. Oh, well, that's a little bit different.
Well, you got Ice Cube and Snoop
Kobe and
Dogg.
Shaq. You got Mike and Scotty.
Yeah, you got Ice Cube and Snoop.
With Mike and Scotty. The triangle with Mike and Scotty is undefeated.
No, you're right. Yeah, try running that triangle with Paul George and Kawhi Leonard.
No, because they're not as good. Paul George is not as good as Scotty. Kawhi is definitely not in Mike's league.
Yeah. Well, what I was gonna say was, yeah, he has the talents. He has Snoop Dogg and he has like Ice Cube, and
DOC. The DOC counts.
Yeah. The Chronic.
50 counts.
Yeah, 50 counts. The
Game
Chronic
counts.
and Doggy Style are not that without Snoop. The Chronic's not the Chronic without Snoop. 2001's not 2001 without Snoop.
So let's have a real conversation and this is something you kind of highlighted to me. Well, really, his 3 best albums are all real Snoop heavy.
Very Snoop heavy.
In terms of what he is lauded for and how he is known. Well, most of the legendary stuff that we laud him for is on The Chronic, on Doggy Style, and on 2001. And who's the real central rhyme figure of those projects? Snoop. And so what I would submit to you is that how great has Dr. Dre really been without Snoop? Because here's why I keep bringing up the RZA thing. Well, I know what RZA sound like with Method Man, Old Dirty Bastard, Raekwon, the Jizza, and Ghostface Killah in motherfucking order, and the answer is phenomenal.
No, you're right. I think the only thing that hurts RZA is the longevity argument.
In order, though, do you understand what I am saying?
Yeah.
Serving these niggas in order. As a producer and a beat maker. Listen to what I'm saying. As a producer and a beat maker, I made these beats and I executive produced this album.
Mad Max of the Super Chat says, rappers Kawhi is better than he was on the Spurs as a player. Stop it. He literally got better leaving the Spurs. He had an incredible year with the Raptors. Mad Max says, not named Tim Duncan. That's what he meant to say. Jay Short with the Super Chat says, I don't think hip-hop lacks great beat makers now. I think that we're missing a Puffy / Suge Knight / L.A. Reid to give artists direction and tell them no.
It's not hard to tell an artist no. It goes just like this.
No. LP says Dre was a beat maker until the Chronic, though. Well, and this is what I would say.
That's not what he's known for, though. When people talk about Dr. Dre's beats, we're not talking about, like I told you, Niggas for Life is a turning point, but nobody gonna be picking those beats from Niggas for Life. Be like, oh, that's the best stuff.
Let's be real, and I'm just gonna say this, and I'm just being 100% honest. Dr. Dre's beat making before the Chronic sounds a lot like Bomb Squad.
No, it's Bomb Squad inspired, like everybody else's beats are.
And so during that time period before the Chronic, like you said, Bomb Squad was the go-to people. I mean, that's where, Ice Cube went straight to Bomb Squad after he left. So I don't think that at that time, Dre's the best producer around. That's Marley Marl. And you know what? Let's just be real. Do you consider Marley Marl to be a producer or a beat maker? And see, that's why being a beat maker is important in hip-hop, because beat makers were DJs. And they were doubling it up.
Marley Marl's a beat maker and a DJ more than he is a producer.
Exactly. But being a beat maker is important because you're a DJ as well, and DJs know what's getting played.
I mean, how about this? I think literally until the Chronic dropped, Marley Marl was considered the greatest hip-hop producer or beat maker ever. Yeah. Like, it literally took the Chronic and Doggy Style for that to not happen. Well, because people were looking at, like, no, listen, and it was legitimate. Think about this. In 1994, as the year is ending, as we are going into January of 1995, Dr. Dre, in a 7-year span, has been the main beat maker and producer of Straight Outta Compton, Niggas for Life, No One Can Do It Better, The Chronic, and Doggy Style. But what I'm trying to submit to you is that since then, only 2001 has been in that stratosphere. Because he didn't really do the beat work on Get Rich or Die Trying or the documentary. Both of those are 5 pieces with executive production.
I know a lot of people are saying that Marley Marl is both, and I do think Marley Marl is both as a producer because obviously
you want to know
hear
what?
things.
Because he did Mama Said Knock You Out.
Yeah.
So he kind of evolved. So he's a DJ, a beat maker, and a producer.
Exactly. But see, this is the thing. A lot of people who
Dre's
are
a DJ too.
Who?
Dre's a DJ too.
Dre's a DJ as well. Yeah, he comes from that world, so he knows. But I think that when you take your hands off of the machine, then you start to open up that door. Like, where does this place somebody like Q-Tip, who is clearly a producer and beat maker and front man for his group? Because when you listen to the Low End Theory, that's well produced, and that's great beat making too. And it's not like, you know what I mean? We've seen Q-Tip with the equipment. We've seen him work the equipment. We've seen Q-Tip find the loops. We've heard the stories of how he got the record, what he saw on the record that gravitated him to the record where he found a certain loop. We don't have those kind of stories with Dr. Dre. And for me, it's problematic, especially for somebody that we're just going to say is the greatest, because as great as the Chronic is, there was a lot of other hands in there and a lot of other people who need to get credit. But when it comes to the Low End Theory, as great as it is, that credit all gets pointed to one man. And that man also had to be half of the rap group on there. And not to mention, and this is where I give Q-Tip a lot of high marks for the Low End Theory as well. The first album was more suited to him. And they got 5 mics in the source. It was the first 5 mic album, whatever. But they weren't a group on that album. So he understood, you know what? I need to make stuff that's going to suit both of us. And he found a way to develop that tribe sound that we know is the tribe sound now on the Low End Theory, where it fit both of them as a duo.
Fife definitely comes off on the Low End Theory.
But again, that's a producer getting the best out of people and meeting them where they're at.
Anymore.
Yeah.
He's not making beats for himself anymore. And thereby, how about this? And this is why the jazz and hip hop fusion work better. Well, he put more boom bap into that jazz fusion because of Fife.
Yeah.
Yeah, Fife bought the boom bap out in Q-Tip.
He's meeting him where he is, and he's adjusting as an MC. Because he's even elevated as an MC from the first album to the second.
Far superior.
Yes.
Far superior. See, okay, so can I tell you something? And I've thought about this. You want to know what I really don't like about People's Instinctives? You're going to be hard-pressed to find a great album, a classic rap album that comes out of New York with bar work like that. Like, the bar work's not strong. That's my problem.
Okay. I've heard that before, too.
Q-Tip's Q-Tip, I mean, we know Fife is levels better, but so is Q-Tip. Like, Q-Tip's that nigga on the Low End. Matter of fact, Q-Tip is arguably the best MC that year on the year the Low End Theory comes out. You feel me?
Yeah.
Like, that's how he's coming off.
Oh, yeah. Jay Short with the Super Chat says, Snoop's flow made everything before it sounded dated. Yeah. He said everything before the Chronic sounds dated.
That's what I mean. Is it's like Marley Marl was the greatest hip hop producer ever till the Chronic came out, because the Chronic was just something different. But here's what it was: everybody was sampling James Brown. He went and sampled George Clinton.
Yeah. LP with the Super Chat says, "What classic Snoop got without Dre? Works both ways." Well,
how about this? You go show me the album that Dr. Dre has produced end to end. Not because he didn't produce Get Rich or Die Trying came with tracks.
Mm-hmm.
The Game's album, some of the best songs are not Dr. Dre songs. Okay,
he didn't produce Get Rich. Good Kid, Mad City is what I was gonna say.
He didn't do any tracks on Good Kid, Mad City though.
All Eyes on Me. He didn't do anything pretty much.
He didn't do nothing but California Love, and we pretty much are finding out that California Love was supposed to be his song, and he really was mad that they ended up giving it to Pac anyway, and that's what led to the riff. Right. So
I think what really hurts too is the fact that he's executive produced 9 out of 10 Eminem albums too. But yeah, you're
That's
right.
what most
End
people
to
say.
end, we don't have anything.
Well, what I'm saying is it the blue carpet treatment and Rhythm and Gangsta and The Last Meal? Well, it's like, well, those are end-to-end dope-ass Snoop Dogg albums. Show me the dope-ass end-to-end Dr. Dre album without Snoop.
That's a good point. Because Rhythm and
That's what
Gangsta
I
is
keep
fire.
saying. Is it's like we've always talked about how Snoop don't sound the same without Dre. It's like, no, hold up.
Yeah, I
Dre
think
shit don't hit the same without Snoop.
you're right.
Because how about this? Dr. Dre ain't winning no verses without the records that Snoop is on. He not.
Facts. And Dr. Dre
Facts.
could also do a whole verses and not play a single Eminem record, and nobody's gonna be like, "Yo, man, he should have played My Name Is."
Now listen to this, and this is what I mean. So let's go to Kanye and RZA right quick. Oh, you can block a whole classic that they have produced out of their catalog, and they can still beat you. It's like you can't play nothing from the Blueprint. Okay.
Right.
You can't play nothing from Daytona. Okay. You can't play nothing from B. Okay. You can't play nothing from Liquid Swords. Okay. You can't play nothing from Into the Wu-Tang. Okay. Okay.
Yeah. No, you're
Okay.
right.
Let's go. Are you done? Are you done? I got more. I got 36 in the chamber to be exact. If you're RZA.
Right.
You feel what I'm saying? These
Sean,
are facts.
Sean
So
with the
take
super
Snoop
chat.
off the board. Take Snoop off of Dre's board. And it's like, what do we got? It's like, because we back to fuck the police. We back listening to Ice Cube and DOC.
You're right. Sean with the super chat says, "What up, guys? Where do you rank Manny Fresh all time?" I think Manny was. I like Manny, and I think what he did was incredible in the time period that he did it. But I think the fact that he was kind of pinned down to just one crew really makes it hard to rank him with his peers that did so much work with so many people.
I think that's what hurt him. How about this? At the point that he was making all of his best stuff, well, you only heard 3 or 4 guys rap over it.
Mm-hmm.
That was the saddest thing that actually happened to him, because I think the first time I really heard him outside the camp, I think Jeezy, and then what?
Mm-hmm. But that was when everything was kind of, he was past his prime there. Let's just be real.
It had been 3 or 4 years maybe past.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So he literally gave BG, Wayne, and Turk and Juvenile all his smoke. So all his smoke is with 4 guys. And if you go look at all your other really all-time great producers, even during their peak run, it's like, no, more than 3 or 4 guys caught smoke.
Yeah. I mean, I think that,
look at all the tracks Kanye was giving the people in between the Blueprint and B. Look at all the records. Look at the records that he did between the Blueprint and B. That's what I'm saying. Look at the records between that time. Oh, that's crazy.
Because I think that producers are going to be measured by their versatility. And we saw this even when Manny Fresh and Scott Storch did their verses. And, me personally, I'm more of a Manny Fresh fan than I am Scott Storch. But Scott Storch blew him away off of the versatility alone. And it was unfair. It got to the point where it was unfair. And then by the time the Scott Storch played Still DRE, it was like, man, we got to go home.
What you doing that for? What are you doing that for? What are you doing that for? You playing that now?
Right. Melvin Wright with the super chat says, listen to Dogfather, and they ask who needs who. This is my point about Daz claiming to me he made Doggy Style. Why Snoop get DJ Pooh for it when Dre left?
No,
that's a good
here's
point.
The thing.
But go ahead. I want to hear you.
No. Let's go ahead. First of all, who is Daz still signed to when Snoop left?
No, he's talking about Dogfather. That was still on death row.
Dogfather. Oh, that is right.
Yeah.
But is Snoop really working with Death Row during Dogfather?
Well, Daz is his cousin. And so I do see that point where it's like, if Daz made Doggy Style, and it's like, okay, Dre's gone, you would think the first reaction would be, yo, Daz, you just made Ambitions of Rada. No, let's lock in.
Let's be honest.
Mm-hmm.
The Dogfather is probably the worst sophomore album ever.
I think so. And I love Snoop Dogg.
No, if we're gonna hold all things accountable and be honest, if you want to go to the low points, let's go to the low points. But here's what I'm going to submit to you. From the time that Doggy Style came out, show me Dr. Dre's shit outside of Phone Tap until 2001 comes out. What Dr. Dre shit looked like from Doggy Style to 2001 outside of motherfucking Phone Tap.
Snoop had to get back into the fold. And I always say this, and I know people say that he made Eminem stuff before this, but when Bitch Please came out, there was an energy going around like, yo, they're back.
Hold on. Matter of fact, Top Dog, Last Meal, Rhythm and Gangsta, and the Blue Carpet Treatment.
I think that Dr. Dre is an executive producer on Top Dog. Go check that out for me because I know we were talking about the executive production that he's done for Snoop or lack thereof over his career, but I think he may have been an executive producer on Top Dog too. So I do want to give credit where credit's due. LP says straight out of Compton, no one can do it better. Niggas for life, all classics. Are we acting like those albums don't exist? He produced them from top to bottom. He did. And the most recent one that you're naming, it's like 1992. And we got to be honest about that.
No, we just gotta start being honest about stuff. Like, and this is what I mean about being honest about stuff. And I hear what you're saying.
You can't just get the crown and nobody can touch it. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I start thinking about that.
No,
Go ahead.
I'm gonna be honest with you. Okay, so let's just start keeping it funky.
Mm-hmm.
How many beats? Like, let's go to Straight Outta Compton and the DOC's No One Can Do It Better. How many beats on there? Which one of those beats? What beat on there is the beat that's like in competition with something like Children's Story by Slick Rick? The Bridge Is Over by KRS-One.
So you're asking me what's the best beat on Straight Outta Compton?
Right. What's the best beat? Because I still think it's probably Express Yourself.
You think so?
What's the best beat? You feel me?
Well, I know I love the song Straight Outta Compton, but the beat itself is.
So I'm going to give people a little bit of the history lesson.
Gangsta, like at the break.
Oh, Gangsta?
Yeah.
Okay, that's Bomb Squad. That's straight Bomb Squad.
It is.
That's a straight Bomb Squad, Jack. But let's get into why Straight Outta Compton is what it is. The rhetoric of Ice Cube.
It is.
Like, Straight Outta Compton is not about Dr. Dre's beats. You see, we've created this mythological character where all things Dr. Dre has touched is great, and the number one reason that it's great is because Dr. Dre produced it. It's like, no, the number one reason that Straight Outta Compton is great is motherfucking Ice Cube.
You're right.
And Ice Cube's rhetoric. And his rhetoric that is very Chuck D and KRS-One inspired from a young West Coast man's perspective. Mm-hmm. We had never heard that before.
You're right.
The talking point of Straight Outta Compton is Ice Cube, not Dr. Dre. So let's just take those beats off the board. None of those beats are in the conversation for greatest beats of all time. Okay?
Even that year, I don't think. Because again,
there's not even a top 5 beat that year on there.
It's hard to do that because you got Rebel Without a Pause coming out that year, which is it destroys everything on there.
You got that whole album production.
It destroys everything on there, beat wise.
Right.
I mean, it does.
Like, how about this? Let's go to Mike. Do you think there's a beat on Straight Outta Compton that's even better than I Ain't No Joke by Rakim?
No.
That's what I'm saying. You see how quick you said that?
No.
Straight Outta Compton's about Ice Cube and how great Ice Cube is.
Yeah.
We don't realize how great Dr. Dre is until we start hearing some of the beats on No One Can Do It Better.
Yeah.
It's funky enough, Mike.
Yeah. No One Can Do It Better is probably one of his best production jobs that never gets talked about.
It is his best production job that doesn't get talked about. Now, if you want to go talk about funky enough as a beat for its era, for that year, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Niggas for Life, Mike, he kind of tipped the scales.
Oh, yeah. Niggas for Life is a great production job. Now, that album is about the production.
It is. But here's what I would submit to you. Didn't the Low End Theory and Niggas for Life came out the same year? What's the better produced album?
No, that was 92 and Low End Theory's 91.
Hold on. Is Niggas for Life 92?
Yeah.
When in 92? Like January?
Look it up real quick. Let me go to these secret chats.
Yeah.
We want to be accurate.
At the same time.
I am SP Fresh says, in my humble opinion, DJ Quick is a better producer than Dr. Dre. Quick works with the MPC.
No, Mike. Niggas for Life, May 28th, 1991.
Okay, it's 91? Okay, so it is Low End Theory. All right.
So what's better produced, the Low End Theory or Niggas for Life?
Low End Theory.
Okay.
Hands down.
So when is he king? So you get what I'm saying? When is he king?
You're right. The Chronic.
When is he the king 92? Of the beats? The Low End Theory comes out the same year as Niggas for Life.
Yeah, what am I talking about? The Chronic's 92. I'm tripping.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Mike, is Niggas for Life not his best production job up to that point?
Up to that point, yes.
Is it production-wise better than the Low End Theory?
That's one of the best produced hip hop albums of all time, though.
So when did he become king?
The Chronic.
Snoop.
Yeah, The Chronic.
Right.
Yeah. I
So
am
there's
SP Fresh says.
so there's some viable like all I'm saying is that we just have to start breaking stuff down, because it's like, well, Kanye was great from jump, no matter who you gave him.
You're
RZA
right.
walked in the door with Woo and was like, "Here's Bring the Pain. I'll do what True Master got Brooklyn Zoo. I got Shimmy Shimmy Yon, baby. Come on."
Well, they worked with what they had too. You know what I'm saying? Let me finish this super chat. He says that he thinks.
I just
Quick
want
is
to be
better.
honest. I'm not trying to castigate Dre either. I'm just
Right.
yeah.
I want to get these super chats real quick. He said, Quick works with the MPC as well as uses musicians to craft his tracks. Yeah?
It's in the hood beat.
Now, I think that Quick is a great mixture of them both as well. Ant Learn with the super chat says, Mac 10, Connected for Life, produced by Manny Fresh, was different for him. Yeah, but he was on Cash Money, though.
You want to know what?
Ohio K with the super chat says, Fresh was producing by himself. Scott Storch had a lot of help. This is true, too. Go ahead. What were you saying, Coop?
No, I'm just saying. We just have to be fair when we audit these conversations, because people act like people literally act like it's always been this way for Dre, and it's like, no, that really didn't start till the Chronic.
LP says Snoop had ghostwriters like Dre had ghost producers. Well, that's beside the point. It's a collective.
No, he's giving people credit. I don't think he's had ghost producers. He's giving the people credit. It's just been a lot of help. Like, we had Chris the Glove Taylor pull up. We know Melman.
Well, I think
Elizondo.
Right, and I think on an overall viewpoint, we give one man credit. Like, we're seeing this with the Diddy thing, and I know Diddy and Jermaine Dupri say they're going to do like a hit for hit thing, but my thing is like, what exactly is Diddy going to play? Like, what exactly can you get credit for that you didn't make from a collective standpoint, you know? And I think if Dre's going to get all this credit, all the people that he's worked with need to get that credit as well. You know what I'm saying?
No, somebody just pulled up with something valid, and they're right. We're forgetting the Eazy-E stuff. So here's what I'll tell you about the Easy stuff. The Eazy-E stuff is where the Chronic stuff comes from. That's all. That's where the G-Funk stuff comes from. We want Easy. We want Bootsy. That's where all that started.
You're right.
So they're worried about that. Somebody said something about Boys in the Hood. Yeah, I'll give them Boys in the Hood.
Trey says, Dre did You Can't See Me, too. Classic. But you know what? And I love You Can't See Me. But that's just a What's My Name retread. He just redid that record again, man. Same sample, same approach.
Beat-wise, it's not, it's not.
But it's not What's My Name. Like, no. That song's a whole nother level. Who Am I think, is one of the greatest hip-hop singles ever released from a quality standpoint. And You Can't See Me just sounds like a recycled version of that. Jay Stone with the super chat says Boys in the Hood beat was fire. Yes, it was.
Hold on. How about this? People don't, I think this is how some of the legend gets kind of misconstrued too. I think Gin and Juice and Ain't No Fun have become more memorable over time. What's My Name is the reason that Doggy Style is the first rap album to go #1 and stay there for 4 weeks straight. Gin and Juice wasn't out when that happened.
No.
That's how dope, and that's how big What's My Name was.
That song was crazy. Is crazy.
Like, for real, you never even heard him. Like, when he said, "Motherfucker, I got 5 on a 20 sack." It's like nobody talked like that on record before.
I mean,
you feel me? It's like that, and as a matter of fact.
I mean, even the way he started that shit off with From the Depths of the Sea. Man, come on, man. Come on, man.
I went solo on that ass, but it's still the
Jigga
same.
took the first 8 bars of that joint.
Yeah. Long Beach is the spot where I serve my cane. It's like, word.
Follow me, but don't lose your grip. 9 Triz A's to get here for me to, man, come on, man.
Shit.
And I ain't holding nothing
back. He was right.
Nothing. Jay Short with the super chat says, we got to get this right. When the Chronic dropped, Snoop was idolized out here. Dre was #2. He was the biggest rapper with no album over Cube. The 5 o'clock news covered this album release. Shout out to Jay Short with the West Coast perspective. See, now we didn't get all of that out here. We just knew that the dude from Deep Cover was next.
I
Yep.
told you, Mike, I was on the east side when the Chronic dropped, and it's like I never heard an album really before get played in the streets like regularly until the Chronic. I didn't even know what it was like for dudes to be consistently bumping. Like it was the first time I really heard dudes play stuff in their system that wasn't 808 bass. I gotta go see Sade off right quick.
No,
I'll be
do
right
your
back.
thing. I'm gonna go ahead and go through these super chats. Melvin Wright with the super chat says, Snoop was garbage till he got back with Dre on Top Dog. And then he went with Pharrell after that run. Dre is a producer first, not an artist. Okay, you say that Snoop was garbage at that point, but what was Dre looking like in that period? Let's just be real. And Zach Lee says Quincy Jones never made a beat, but he's known as a producer. Of course, he is, but hip-hop is a little different. Hip-hop is about beats and rhymes, ultimately. And when you have somebody who's able to make their beats and loops and stuff from scratch, there's something that adds to an MC, because that's where the root of this whole thing is. Like, the center of hip hop is the DJ, right? Way everything started, DJs out here playing loops, break beats, and then you get an MC that goes out there and gets on the mic and starts MCing. That part of the process in hip hop is what created a beat maker. There's not a beat maker without hip hop or before hip hop. So I don't think that the other rules for other genres traditionally even apply to hip hop when it comes in that way. Ethan Hill with the super chat says, Coop, you forgot about Easy Does It. I think Coop already covered that. We're really behind in the super chats. Let me catch up real quick so we can get back up to it. But yeah, I think when we talk about the traditional production style, I don't think that it is beneficial in hip hop for us to act like a producer is better than a beat maker. I think that sometimes beat makers have to be producers, to actually make palatable records. But I think that if you're a producer in hip hop and you're not a beat maker, that kind of puts you to the back of the line. And I think that honestly, man, if we want to talk about overall scope of things, I have to put Kanye West above Dr. Dre as an overall hip hop producer. I think that the versatility that Kanye has presented over the years, with the ability to produce for people like Twista, to Common, to Jay, to whoever, and not to mention what he's done R&B wise. I think you could really argue the fact that from an R&B standpoint, Kanye's done more production-wise than Dre has on an R&B level. I think I hear Coop coming back, and I want to hear him piggyback off of this too. Coop, you there?
I'm not done yet because I have to give my kids some money.
No. Do your thing, man. But I was just saying that I think Kanye West is a better producer than Dr. Dre. And I limited it to hip-hop at first, and then I was like, well, Kanye has better produced R&B records than Dre does.
Yeah, he does.
You know what I mean? Like, where's Dre's You Don't Know My Name by Alicia Keys? Not to mention that the work that Kanye did on Brandy's album. Not to mention that the work that Kanye's done with John Legend. Where's Dr. Dre's resume when it comes to those things? So I'm not even going to just minimize it to hip-hop. Kanye's just a better producer than Dr. Dre to me. And I hate to admit that. I think from a quality standpoint, and we look at production in some lenses, we look at production from a polished product type of standpoint. Yeah, Dre got the polished product. But I think when you talk about the overall versatility and you talk about being able to take on artists and make the best out of that individual artist and give them your greatness, I got to give that one to Kanye over Dre. Somebody said, get it all out, Mike. Yes. I land my plane there. But yes, I think I got Kanye over Dre. And I know that Coop was saying that he feels like RZA is over Dre. Now, that part I may not totally agree with. And, I love RZA. I think RZA's made some of my favorite beats all time. But I think that the longevity side of it might hurt RZA when it comes to him going up against Dre in that facet. Dre has one song with Mary J. Blige. Yeah, I mean, yeah, and people. So, do you guys agree, or am I tripping? Am I am I off? Dre worked with Tony Braxton. What song? I know he was in the video, but what song did Dr. Dre make for Tony Braxton?
All right. That's my bad, Mike. All
No,
right,
you
took
cool.
forever.
We had a great conversation, man. I was basically just spilling it all out about how I think Kanye is just a better overall producer than Dr. Dre. I think at first I started off saying it was hip hop, and then I was like, well, Kanye's made better R&B records than Dr. Dre too.
Hold on, what record specifically are you talking about? Because I mean, I'm
I
thinking
was
about Gwen
gonna go.
Stefani's.
Oh no, I was gonna say I was gonna go Alicia Keys. You don't know my name. Not to mention the work that he's done with John Legend on his first two albums.
That's one of his best beats, actually. Is "You Don't Know My Name."
It is. It's
It
her
is.
best song. It's Alicia Keys' best song.
Is that her best song? Oh,
It
you might be
is.
right.
It
I
is.
like "Diary" too, but that's
Yeah, it's better
that's
than
the Tony
Diary.
Tony Tony remake.
Yeah, that's Andrew Wiggins, not Andrew Wiggins. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
Andrew Wiggins. But no, he did Knock Knock for Monica.
it did.
Um, and like I said, Get Lifted album. I want to say he did about half of that. Once
I mean, I
again,
think I'll Get Lifted alone.
yeah. Once
Yeah,
again, the work that he did with Brandy. Not to mention Keisha Cole's first ever single. I don't know.
right. Oh
Yeah,
God, you forget
yeah.
about
He's a better R&B producer than Dr. Dre too.
he just did so much beat work, especially like he threw people so much heat and kept so much heat. That's the thing that's most impressive about his run. Like RZA's impressive thing about his run is like so much classic stuff,
Right.
so fast, so hard with no breaks. It's like that's not getting done again. But I don't know if anybody has thrown out records the way Ye threw out records and still kept classic stuff for himself and still kept classic stuff for the best artists, like the best MCs. Because
And when it was
for the
time to
most
lock in and make an album like B, he did it.
right,
You know, I'll tell you this, man. And the other part that kind of makes me gives me second thoughts about saying Dr. Dre's the best. If Kanye West had Rakim on his roster, I don't think nothing would. I don't think that we would have never gotten any album.
we would have got a Rock
We
Him
would have
album.
got a Rakim album.
We
Like
would have
that
a Rock Him album.
bothers me, the fact that Dr. Dre had Rakim on his roster in the time period that he did, and we got nothing out of it. What does that
Can I
say
tell
about
you
him as a
something?
producer?
Your meticulous nature and your technicality can hurt you at times. Your
But
reputation can hurt you at times. And this is what I mean about it being kind of like mythicized. It's like, well, his legend is so mythicized even in his mind, he forgets that it's like, nigga, all the beats on Straight Outta Compton ain't fire. All the beats on No One Can Do It Better ain't perfect. All the beats on Niggas for Life ain't fire. Mike, every beat on The Chronic isn't like a tour de force on beat making.
you know what this is?
If you really want to know, Mike, The Chronic, beat wise, is just as standout as Snoop is. It's like the Nothing But a G thing is clearly the highlight, but let's go to it. He really got named greatest producer ever at that moment because of the transition from the day the niggas took over, from that transition into Nothing But a G thing. We had never heard that before.
That shit
And
is
then to
crazy.
hear that over such a great beat, because it is still one of the best rap beats ever.
Now, you know, one of the best rap moments ever for me, Up in Smoke Tour, when he comes out in that lowrider and they play that Let Me Ride remix and that beat drops and the high drop, like that shit is epic. Now, I would be remiss to not, bring up Let Me Ride remix. The way he flipped that whole Mothership sample, that shit is crazy. But
Right.
these are just individual moments. If we're looking at the collective and we got to be fair here, like it's very hard to put somebody who
No,
had
this is what I'm
Rakim on
saying.
their
No,
roster. Like, how do you have Rakim on your roster? That's like if Mike D'Antoni had KD or Michael Jordan on his roster and he didn't maximize the moment. What does
right.
that
It's
say
like,
about you as a producer? Your job
right.
as a producer is to get the best out of the talent that is there.
We
You get
see,
a
we see
talent to that level and you do nothing with it, that has to be a mark. on, and not a good mark on your production skills. Sorry.
Let's go to D'Antoni right quick and what he got out of James Harden. It's like, okay, so you got a 6'4" shooting guard who is a streaky shooter, but not necessarily a notoriously great shooter to average 36, 37, 38 points a game a season.
Mm-hmm.
So when we give you KD in his prime, he's going to score 50, right? KD's not playing. What you mean KD ain't playing? He's supposed to score 50 points in your system.
Right.
James Harden averaged 38 points a game in your system. That means KD's good for 50.
Right.
I want to see it happen. No, you're right about that. But this is what I mean about how we just mythicize these things, because this is what I'm trying to say. Is like, let's go pull up the Chronic.
Mm-hmm.
You feel me?
Yeah.
By the way, you have to go to Google to do now.
Yeah, because it's not on the streaming platforms. While you do that, let me go through these super chats. Blue Collar Hustle says, fun fact, Nas had You Don't Know My Name first. Interesting. Jay Short, the super chat says, Dre duck beat making for Busta Rhymes, Rakim, and Kendrick. See, I didn't even go there with the Kendrick thing, but you would think, after hearing Section 80 and hearing what this kid did on Rigor Mortis, all of these records, High Power, as a great producer, you'd be like, yo, man, I can't wait to get this guy in the lab. Didn't happen. Jay Short said Dr. Dre tried to influence Rakim's bars. Unforgivable. Yeah, man. So, no one could tell Rakim how to rap.
Listen. So listen to how the Chronic plays out. I want you to tell me the beat that's better than Lil Ghetto Boy after Little Ghetto Boy. So it starts off with Dre Day.
Mm-hmm.
Let Me Ride. The Day the Niggas Took Over. Nothing But a G Thing. These Nuts. Lil Ghetto Boy. Stop. Okay?
I like Nigga with a Gun. I like Nigga with a Gun a lot.
Do you think it's better beat-wise than Lil Ghetto Boy?
I think it's a great beat. It's hard to say. I mean, Lil Ghetto Boy is incredible. I think
that's
bitches
what I'm
ain't.
Trying to say.
I think bitches ain't shit is crazy.
What I'm saying about how we mythicize it, it's like no. The beat, the epic beat making, like stops around track 7, 8. So let's say you go Nigga with a Gun.
I love
Rat-a-tat-tat.
Rat-a-tat-tat's kind of a drop off, and I like that song.
Okay, $20 Sack Pyramid Skit's funny. Lyrical Gangbang, beat wise.
Lyrical Gangbang, beat wise is kind of basic, but the rhyming on that kind of carries that record.
High Powered.
That's a dope record, but it's not top of the album level.
Stranded on Death Row.
Same thing as kind of Lyrical Gangbang.
Okay, so it really
but
doesn't
bitches ain't shit though. It's crazy.
Right, that's
but
what
you
I'm
know
saying.
What? It's funny that you mention it like that. 2001 does a similar thing too. Once 2001 gets to next episode, it kind of.
So let's stop making it seem like every beat that this man makes is flawless, because you see part of why we don't get material from him is because we treat him that way. Like every production has been flawless. It's like, no. The Chronic is one of the best produced albums ever. We didn't say every beat on here was classic, because it's not.
Now, honestly, man, if you went down the line with the beats on the Low End Theory, you might be surprised. I'll put it that way. Because
not every beat, Mike, but I get what you're saying.
You know what I'm saying?
Like, the Low End Theory for me is a top 10 rap album, and it is a top 10 produced rap album.
But
so I understand what you were saying.
Top end is not what the Chronic is, but I'm just saying from end to end. Because it doesn't really experience a drop off.
I mean, because even think about this. Suge Knight has executive production credits on the Chronic.
Yeah. I'm not sure what you mean by that, but yeah.
No, that's what I mean. It's just like, no. I mean, it's like, did he really help?
Right. Oh, you're speaking to just that executive production credit. Because I don't want to say this like it's disparaging, but what exactly did Dr. Dre do on Good Kid, Mad City? Did he put together the skits or?
I don't know. Other than being on Compton, which is a Just Blaze track, I really don't know. Maybe
because the thing is, and we always talk about Quincy Jones and everybody always says, yo, you don't know what a producer's role, this and that. What Quincy Jones' role was as a producer, he's getting all the personnel. Let's just talk about the Michael Jackson album specifically. He's getting all the personnel. He's getting Rod Temperton. He's getting all the instrumentalists. He's getting all of the, the drummers. He's putting together that whole
I
session.
think Snoop even had a hand in that. Because where's the dog pound coming from? That's Snoop's crew.
Exactly. So I'm just saying, when we talk
So
about we talk about Good Kid, Mad City specifically. I know Dr. Dre didn't set that stuff up in that way for Kendrick. Kendrick came in with his team already.
Who found Snoop is the question. Did Dre
Warren
find
G.
Snoop or did Snoop find Dre?
Snoop found Dre as the story is told. But Dre had to say yes.
You just said the job of the executive producer is to go source out the talent.
Warren
biggest
G
talent
was
is Snoop Dogg. No, the biggest talent is Snoop. The second biggest talent is probably Daz because of the production. Third biggest is probably Nate or Corrupt. That's all Snoop's crew.
But
so
see,
if Snoop brought him out.
I was going to say, not to interrupt you, but Warren G did all of those things that you're talking about. And Warren G said his role during the Chronic times was to go get the records that were going to be sampled. So not only did Warren G, in this instance, go get the records for the Chronic, he brought you Snoop Dogg. And essentially probably Nate Dogg too, because they were a group. Go ahead.
213.
Yeah. So he essentially brought you Snoop and Nate.
So your little brother bought you Snoop Dogg and Nate Dogg.
Yeah.
And thereby got you Daz and Corrupt, because Corrupt and Snoop went to high school together.
And Daz is Snoop's cousin.
And Daz is Snoop's cousin. Yeah. Snoop and Corrupt got into a battle in high school.
Yeah.
Right.
So that collective like that made the Chronic,
that sound like your little brother like blessed you with the gift of a motherfucking lifetime, because he bought you Snoop, which thereby bought you Nate, Daz, and Corrupt plus Snoop, plus having Warren G there too.
No, where does Rage come from?
Rage is Snoop finding her on tour because she's from VA.
Okay.
He found her on his first tour.
Okay, because I figured that Snoop and Rage were the ones that were close.
Yeah, Snoop is the one that found Rage.
So who did Dre find? The DOC?
I think Easy found the DOC, Mike. I think, if I'm not mistaken, Easy found the DOC.
I'm trying to give credit here.
No, I mean, we can. You see, here's the thing: the DOC thing literally does we're like 8 years old, Mike. So it's like I can't speak to that. We're like 8 years old.
Well, maybe somebody in the chat could speak to that, because I know we got a lot of people in here, and maybe some people know where DOC came from. Was it Easy or was it Dre? Well, who did Dre find? Nocturnal?
I mean, Game sought him out. M got 50. Rakim is Rakim. Nas is Nas.
Right. And Don was already in vogue.
Yeah.
Where did the Eve thing come from? I'm not even gonna count Eve because he didn't put out anything on her. So, and it took her going to the Rough Riders to actually release something. Sitting on another gem. I don't know how talented Eve was at that point, but we know how talented Eve became.
After Rough Riders, though.
No, she did.
No, Mike,
she went back. No, he had her first.
Did he?
Yeah, he had her first.
I met Eve when I was in high school and What Y'all Want came out.
And I felt, I won't say I felt the way, but it's really odd. I could see how Rough Riders could feel a way about the fact that, you know what, you sent her over here for it to work, and when it worked, she came right back. Because when they got their deal with Interscope, that was, part of that.
Hold on. So you're saying that she was with Mike? I don't know how that's going to work. See, she's from Philly, so I don't know how she was linking on the West Coast with Drake. Because think about it, she's on You Got Me too.
No, I know. I'm telling you, they explained all of it in the Rough Riders documentary. But yeah, she was with Drake.
How's she up on the West Coast? Because Rockefeller and Rough Riders are right there, and the Roots are right there with OK Player. You know what I'm saying? There's a bunch of you feel me?
Yeah. Around that Aftermath album time, I forgot how she said that she got connected, but she explained it actually. I've seen her explain how she got connected to Dre, and he had her out there. Oh, somebody says Dre met him on tour and told him to come out to LA. Now, I'm sure somebody out there can give us the story on Eve and Dre, too, but I remember her saying that...
Who talking about met who on tour? DOC?
Yeah, DOC.
Okay,
Now
I
she
can
was
see that.
basically saying that she was in the studio and and they just weren't coming up with stuff for her. And she was really antsy and ready to work. And I think Jimmy Iovine was like, "Well, you ready to work? Rough Riders, it might be better over there. It might be a better fit over there for now." And it's
Hmm.
like you had a talent like Eve, a raw talent like Eve. You had a veteran like Rakim, and Busta Rhymes was on there
That's
for a minute too, and
that's not a veteran. That's a legend and
a
arguably the
legend. I'm
greatest
sorry,
MC of all time.
but you know what I mean. And even
Yeah,
with the Busta Rhymes thing, as much
it,
as well put together as I think that the album they did together is,
it has no
it
soul.
doesn't sound like Busta Rhymes.
What
Once
doesn't have a soul?
again, yeah. It, there's
It's
like
like
one or two songs on there that sounds like the Busta Rhymes that we all know. But it sounds like a Dr. Dre album. So yeah. But we could go on and on about that. But yeah, I mean, I think that just unpacking some of those things, I think that being a beat maker in hip hop, to me, is more important than being a producer in hip hop. Now you have to be both, but if we're sliding in the scale, give me a 70% beat maker and a 30% producer in
I
hip
mean,
hop.
because here's what you'll find. Okay, who's the executive producer of Illmatic?
Is it large? Oh, I know who it is. Faith Newman and MC Search.
Thank you. Okay,
Yeah, I mean, because again, you can get people who don't make beats to do that.
like Puff.
Yeah,
Yeah, and so the beat maker
the beat maker is
in
more
this
important.
spectrum, because here's the thing about it, like, and this is what I mean, when you're dealing with R&B, it's like, well, your rhythm and your melody matter, so it's like, well, the people playing the music matter.
Yeah,
You feel me? That's why Clyde Stubblefield is so important to James Brown, because he changed the way those drumming patterns were going for James, which is what James was asking for.
right.
You feel me? The person playing the instrument matters. In hip hop, the person playing the instrument technically is the beat maker.
I
So that
think
is the person that technically matters more, because here's the thing, there are a lot of people in this sphere that can come in that don't know how to make the beat and Quincy Jones it. But what does it say when you have somebody like a Q-Tip that can make the
yeah,
beat and produce your whole album, or
exactly.
Kanye West,
Yep.
or RZA, or The Alchemist,
That's where
or
I was gonna
Havoc?
go too, because in hip hop we have so many people that have had to do both. We're not gonna just give credence to a person that doesn't have to do both. You know what I'm saying? You gotta. I don't say you have to. At this point, I would like for Dr. Dre to prove that he could still be a beat maker in hip hop.
I mean, I'd like to hear it, because here's the reality of the matter. The last classic album that he did heavy production work on was Get Rich or Die Trying, and that's 5 songs, and that's 2003.
What did he do on that Compton album?
I mean, he did work on there too, but I said like classic.
That's what I'm saying. Like, why do we act like stuff like that doesn't exist?
I mean, I think he did. Did he do the last track, Diary? That was the best track on there.
I thought the song with Game was probably my favorite track on there. I haven't listened to Compton.
Animals was Primo's beat.
Yeah. Melvin Wright with
Um,
the super chat says Destiny Jones is the executive producer of Stillmatic. So
that,
what does Suge being the executive producer of The Chronic have to do with anything?
see, people set that up so they can eat. That's why I'm saying it's
Yeah.
like, well, who's executive producing what? Because people set that up so that they can eat a certain type of way.
Well,
You feel
Proswell's the
me?
executive producer of the score. So what are we saying?
Right.
The Combs says, Coop, you said you met Eve in high school. Did she have a fatty? Whoa.
These fools crazy. I did meet Eve in high school. I used to actually work at a record store in high school. We
I
actually
remember you
used
saying
to
she was
have.
cool.
Right. No, she was one of the cooler artists that I met. I've met a lot of these people. I told you, Mike, it was funny when I started doing this. It's like I've literally been having these run-ins with famous like entertainers and rappers and athletes since I was like 13 years old. Like I ran into Method Man and Redman like at Freedom Mall on the west side of Charlotte once. Like this been happening to me my whole life. Eve came into Manifest Disc and Tapes in the summer that I graduated from high school, and What Y'all Want came out. She was performing at our version of Summerfest
Mm-hmm.
in Charlotte that summer. and she was just like literally coming in to do a little signing. She wasn't even a big artist at all. She had one single out. It was "What Y'all Want." She was getting some buzz. She came in Daisy Dukes and a tank top. She was. You want to know what? She was the chick that LL described in "Round the Way Girl." You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Someone says Dr. Dre has no footage of actually crafting a beat. Wow. NDU
I'm not touching that.
Jams. NDU Jam says Raekwon also went to try to do something with Dre. It never came into fruition. That's true. I forgot about Ray. That's a lot to leave on the table if you're the greatest hip hop producer of all time. Like I said,
he got 2 tracks out of Dre on Purple Tape too, though. That's more than most cats get.
2, and they weren't even the standouts. Let's be real. The standouts came from the guy who was no longer here. Dilla got the standouts on there.
Okay, 17 Bricks is the standout.
10 Bricks.
10 Bricks, 17 Bricks. I don't care. It's like
that's Dilla.
That's Dilla.
It's Dilla.
That's the hold on. That's the best beat on there.
It's insane. It's the best beat of that year.
It is the best beat of that year. Hold on. Broken Safety with Kiss and Styles is probably the best mic performance. But where you have those Dre tracks on the Purple Tape too? I have them pretty high, Mike.
I gotta go back and listen. Because We Will Rob You is one of my favorites.
Just off the top, 10 Bricks and Broken Safety and the first Wu joint that got Meth crushing it at the end is the only 3 joints that I can think of.
I like New Wu too. Yeah. Huh? No. That song you're talking about, Clan in the Front, Dilla
Let
did that too.
That's Niggas on the left.
That's Dilla too.
Hoods on the left. Wild for the night. That shit, that's classic Wu-Tang.
That's Dilla too.
Is that Dilla?
That's Dilla.
Oh, those are the best 2 tracks on there. It is. Because Broken Safety is the best mic performance, but the best 2 beats are those 2 beats.
Oh, yeah.
Well, Dilla's the best beat maker, though. We've talked about this, beat for beat.
Well, you know what? Yeah. All right, let's look at it like this.
That's why people feel like Dilla's the best producer ever, because if you're just going like track for track, it's like, well, his drums, Mike, it's like you said, his drums hit different. His beat making different.
Mike,
he's a better beat maker than Q-Tip. Mike, he's a better beat maker than Q-Tip. Think about how we just talked about Q-Tip during the show. We just said the Low End Theory is better produced than Niggas for Life.
If you could get an album produced by Dr. Dre or Dilla, who you picking?
Dilla. Hold on. What do you mean? See, when you say produced, you mean who's making the beats?
Well, I mean, let's just say Dr. Dre throws his name on there.
Here's how I feel about it. Like, as an artist, Dilla would always be my choice as an artist for the majority of the beat selection. Mm-hmm. You feel me? Like, it's like, we just picking beats. I'm probably taking Dilla, Pete Rock, and RZA in that order, like to pick my beats from. After I've picked about 10 of Dilla's beats, and about 3 of Pete Rock's beats, and about 2 of RZA's beats, then we gonna see what's left. If we talking beats, and whoever can executive produce that, I'm cool with. But if we just talking beats, I want a 10-pack from Dilla first. I want a 10-pack from Dilla. And when I say 10, they're not gonna give me 10. I'm negotiating for 4. You're asking for 10, you're gonna get 4, and then I'm gonna work from there.
Well, you brought up a great point when we brought up MC Search and Faith Newman. You could just get some record executives who know their music to be your executive producer. You don't need Dr. Dre to be your executive producer.
And Pete Rock and DJ Premier and Q-Tip are doing the majority of the beat work. Like, yeah, you can get almost anybody. You can get almost anybody.
KD so with the super chat.
With an ear. You got an ear. Mm-hmm. You listen to rap. You know what rap sound like.
When I listen to the records that didn't make Illmatic, I mean, it's kind of like a no-brainer. It's like,
right.
It's like, I see why I didn't make it. You know what I mean? Like, there's not a song that didn't make it where I was like, damn, that should have been on there.
No.
They made all the right choices. KD with the super chat says, Dre doesn't produce anymore. He has a production team with Focus, Fred Reck, etc. He did produce Simba's new single, but I believe it's an old beat. Okay. And if you got a team and all those things, I just can't have you at the #1 spot like that. And when is the last time Dr. Dre produced, like you said, from end to end with just him?
Where is it?
Melvin Wright with the super chat
I just
says,
want some evidence, because if y'all are saying Daz contributed to Doggy Style, then you're telling me that the last time that he produced end to end by himself is The Chronic. Well, what I would submit to you is that the only
Warren
time
G
that
did a lot of help there too, but whatever. I feel
No,
you.
let's. The Chronic says all songs produced by Dr. Dre.
Yeah.
It always has.
Yeah.
So we're just going to say that. We're going to say, how about this? We're going to say everybody was earning their stripes, even if they helped. Okay? But
there's been some
Doggy
producer
Style,
talk
we know
out
Daz
there.
helped. We know Daz helped with Doggy Style, right? Like, we know this, right?
Yeah. Did you see the video that Jermaine Dupri put up? I think it was today. It was a producer out there talking about basically ghost production, talking about how in the 90s, a lot of those producers used to basically take unknown producers' tracks and throw their names on it. And he mentioned Jermaine Dupri. And Jermaine Dupri made a whole video with him and Brian Michael Cox right there with him. He was like, listen, I don't know about any of those other cats that you're talking about, but don't ever put that on my name. We make everything right here. This is my production partner. I ain't never took nobody's stuff and put the name on it. And I will give Jermaine this. Jermaine's always in the studio, and you always see him in front of some equipment. He's a
certified beat maker, Mike. He's a certified beat maker.
Yeah.
There's so much footage of him being in the studio making stuff from scratch. Like, there's endless footage of it from a young age.
Yeah.
Like from Criss Cross age, from the Brat stage. Like, how about this? If there is footage from 1989, he's making beats then.
Mm-hmm.
Making beats then.
And he jumped out there and shot that down immediately, as he should. He does the work. You know what I mean? And I think that it's just been so commonplace for us to just say, that's just how it goes in hip hop. But no, man, we can't. If we know that somebody else is making these records that we're giving a certain producer credit for, that's points off, man. I'm sorry, man. We just got to be as fair as we would be when it comes to the MCs, right?
You want to know what, Mike? I think the all-time producer list is actually a tougher list to make than the all-time MC list.
It is.
Because when I'm thinking about it, let's try to think about, Mike, who are the 20 best producers of all time?
20?
20.
Damn it, man. Let me go through these super chats and I'm going to think about
it. You do that, because I'm making a list right now, because it's like I'm going through this list. It's like, oh, man, I can give you 20 guys easy.
Melvin Wright with the super chat says, DLC was in a group featured on NWA and the Posse LP. Okay. So that's where he came from. Hold on. I think I passed the big super chat. Ray Rims says, I'm asking you both individually, which person would you want to EP your next rap album? Rock Marciano or Puff? Beatmaker versus collaborator. Depends on what type of artist that I'm dealing with. But in this moment, in 2022, I would definitely probably lean more towards Rock Marciano because he's working. He's active.
Okay.
Katie with the super chat says, Dre did Catalina and About Me on Purple Tape 2. I didn't love Catalina like that. It was cool.
I didn't love Catalina, but that's because I thought that they should have found somebody else other than Life.
Mm-hmm.
Just being honest. Because that record could have been bigger.
Jay Short says,
they should have made that a movie.
Jay Short says, you guys talked about Jada. He needs an executive producer.
I agree.
I guess it's all about what your needs are. Ryan Gillum says, what 5 things does a rap album need to be a 5 out of 5? I want to get back to the previous comment real quick, though.
Go ahead.
I think that, he may need a executive producer, but I don't think he needs Dr. Dre. He needs somebody that, I'm not saying he needs Kanye either, but he needs somebody that's going to hone in to the fact that how do we bring this out of Jadakiss 10 times out of 10 on a track? And similar to what I said earlier, you need a paid in full type of format to get a classic Jadakiss album. Because if that shit's banging like that, ain't nobody going to care that he didn't make a song for the ladies or something. You know what I mean? Nobody's going to care about that. As long as it sounds complete, similar to in a Daytona format where it's like he's doing what he does best for 8 tracks out of 8, cool. But I think somebody like Dr. Dre would take on Jadakiss assignment and try to change him into what he makes as a classic. You know what I mean?
No idea. I want you to understand, I've done so much typing that this iPad was at like 85%. It's at 10%. I'm got to go get my charger now because I'm writing down this producer list right now. And this is what I mean. Like, this shit is tough, Mike. Like to be.
Well, I can't wait to hear it. Ryan Gillum says, what 5 things does a rap album need to be 5 out of 5? 5 things. I would say beats, rhymes, life, creativity.
Life, Mike. Yeah.
Beats, rhymes, life, creativity, and standouts. Coop is working hard over there putting together this list. I can see the brain fumes working. Jay Short says Purple Tape 3, produced by Dilla with Meth as the co-star. Man, that shit would have been heavy, man. Rest in peace to Jay Dilla. Yay, large professor. Okay. I want to get to the other super chats. Yeah, I mean, because if we think about it, a lot of the producers, and I'm sure that Coop's going to name a lot of them, that are majority beat makers. And that's what I want to do, too, with your list. I want to see what percentage of a beat maker are they, and what percentage of a producer are they. You got to be more of a beat maker than producer to be killing it in hip-hop. Ohio K with the super chat says, save the producer list for the Patreon.
No, I mean, this is off the top of the dome. This is what I'm saying. This is part of what
we'll
we do.
We'll save the vetted producer list for Patreon.
Right.
But this is just off the top of the dome. This is the freestyle list.
Right. So.
Because I'm sure some people are going to be left off.
Well, I mean, I didn't do any production teams.
I got you.
You feel me? Like, yeah. I think the only production teams on here would be Neptunes.
I got you. You know who I really like, man? And he's top 20. Metro Boomin, man. Metro's work and the work that he's put in, I think, is amazing over the past, nearly 10 years now.
What do you think about, what's his name that did Rich Boy shit?
Are you talking about Polo the Don?
Yeah, Polo.
I love Polo all the way back from the days of Jim Crow, but I just don't think that,
Okay. I mean, Metro's better. I was just asking you what you thought.
Yeah, he ain't no Mike Will made it or nothing.
I'm about to say, what do you think of Mike Will?
Yeah.
Mike Will Metro?
Yep. 808 Mafia in the chat. Appreciate that, man. That's a good look, too. 808 Mafia is hard. Hit Boy should be in the conversation as well.
See, this is what I'm saying. This is why the list is so tough. So look, keep going. No, keep going. This is what I'm saying about how tough it is. Huh?
Southside. Lex Luger.
I got Lex down already.
I'm sure you got DJ Paul and Juicy J.
I do. You know I do. You know I got DJ Paul down.
Trackmasters. I love that.
See?
Yeah.
Keep going. Feel me?
I see DJ Unique a lot. I see DJ Unique a lot. You got No ID.
Ooh, I didn't have DJ Unique.
What about N.O. Joe?
Huh?
N.O. Joe. He did a lot of the Scarface shit. That's your guy.
He did. N.O. Joe did do a lot of the Scarface stuff. Okay.
You got DJ Quick. I'm sure you got him there.
Yeah, Quick's on there. That's Quick. You know how I feel about that West Coast shit.
What do you think about Salaam Remy?
Made you look.
He did make you look, but he made a lot of misses with Nas too.
Helped put the score together too, though.
He did help. What? No, I thought he was more blended on reality. Well, I'm sure he still worked with him.
He did some tracks on the score too, if I'm not mistaken.
And not to mention the Amy Winehouse work. So yeah, Drummer Boy. What do you think?
I'm not sure about Drummer.
Rockwilder.
Not sure about Rock. Eric Sermon.
Of course. I know Ninth Wonder's there, right?
Yep, Ninth's already down.
Of course. Large Professor, I'm sure.
He's already down.
Beats by the Pound, Organized Noise. You say you didn't do production teams, though, right?
No, I started putting beats and Organized Noise down. That's actually what I'm doing right now.
Okay.
I put beats down.
Larry Smith. I love it. Larry Smith.
Larry Smith?
He's the blueprint, man. He was making the Run DMC stuff.
Okay. I'm about to say it sounds familiar. I just don't know where that's coming from.
Like we didn't even know what hip hop records were from a production
Right.
standpoint before Larry Smith. He made the first palatable hip hop songs. I'm sure you got No ID there. The
I do.
Alchemist, Daz, DJ Screw,
See, no,
Daz.
I didn't put Daz down yet. You see what I'm
Didn't
saying
put
about
Daz.
how deep it is?
Young Chop. I fuck with Young Chop. I fuck with Young
Yeah.
Chop. I don't like Change the Game. And I like his version better than I like the remixed Kanye version. But I think Young Chop is in a similar situation as Manny Fresh, except for he doesn't have enough. Excuse me. Jazzy Faye.
Maybach Music, Mike.
Are you talking about Justice League?
Yep.
What about Jazzy Faye?
I didn't put Jazzy down.
Michael Huntley says, thoughts on Timbo with what he did for the early Missy, Aaliyah, and Jay-Z records, pop records, and his own albums. Also Madlib, Alchemist, and Havoc. Listen, man, I'll tell y'all before, man, like, Timbaland changed the game for me. I didn't really pay attention who was making the beats until Timbaland came along. Like, his stuff was so distinctive that I had to check for it. I was like, oh, yeah, that's a Timbaland beat.
Always check for the beats, but I will tell you what. When I heard 1 in a Million,
It changed everything.
By Aaliyah, I heard an R&B beat that I was like, hold on. I was like, rapper. I think a rapper should be rapping to that. I don't think a rapper is dope enough to rap to that.
I had never heard
that was the first time I had heard an R&B beat like that. It's like I don't think there's a rapper that's dope enough to rap to that beat.
I don't think I've ever heard a drum kick like delay like that in a song and sound right.
So think about this. I don't think Pac and Biggie could have delivered on that beat, and that's what I mean. It's like, nah.
Well, I mean, his production style and the way that Missy as a writer was able to make it palatable from a rap level and the R&B stuff that she was writing over his stuff, that just gives, I mean, obviously the whole duo all kind of props, but as a writer, Missy's incredible for what she was able to see in those Timbaland beats where most writers would have been like, I can't write to this.
Mike, Beat Nuts, Diamond D.
Beat Nuts, that would be more so Juju.
Juju. Yeah.
I love Juju.
Diamond D.
We got Bomb Squad there, right?
The
Bink.
I don't got Bink. I need to put Bink down.
Rick Rubin.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
See, Mike, we almost like, hold on, I'm going to count it out in a second and let you know. This is what I mean about how it's tougher than the MC list, actually. This is why production matters so much.
What about Swiss? DJ Scratch. Heatmakers.
I'm cool. I'm more cool with Swiss than you are on the production side, actually. I'm the one to be fighting for flesh on my flesh on here, not you.
No, I give Swiss his props. I mean, I just personally don't love his production, but his accomplishments are what they are. Ray Rims with the super chat says, Coop, if you were making an album today, who would you want to EP it? Rock Marciano or Diddy? Beatmaker
Rock.
Versus okay.
Rock.
You going Rock? Q-Tip.
I mean, because we don't know that Diddy has his pulse on anything.
Right.
Q-Tip. We don't know what Diddy has his pulse on. What does he have his pulse on exactly that I should want to do the EP with him?
True. Yeah. Q-Tip is on there. Easy Mo B.
Easy Mo B is on there.
Okay, great. Let's see. DJ Too Tough. Philly Tough Crew. Behind the demonstrators is dope. Okay. Cool and Dre.
Cool and Dre, yeah.
Evidence.
No.
Just Blaze.
Just is on there.
J. Cole.
No.
Marley Marl. Derringer.
Marley.
Oh, this one hurts me, man, because I agree with this statement. Prince Paul is the most underrated producer out there. He is.
Yes.
Prince Paul is the most.
You know,
I've said that on this show before. Prince Paul is the most underrated producer in hip hop.
There we go. This is what I'm saying. So, okay,
and then
so
the Grave Diggers, he produced it.
Let's stop for 1 second. Mm-hmm. Let me tally up how many producers
Flying
we just
Lotus, Ant Banks, Derringer.
Ant Banks. I like Ant Banks.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's making this list. RZA, 1, 2, 3.
Bobcat, Laura Finesse, Havoc, DJ Pooh. Hi, DJ Pooh. Diamond D, Mike Will. Irv Gotti.
We're already 46 deep. We already got most of those people you named. We can add Irv. Irv did Can I Live?
He did. Battle Cap.
I don't know about Battle Cat because we're at 47 with Irv. I don't know about Battle Cat or
Battle Cat got joints.
Huh?
Battle Cat got joints.
Okay.
Apollo Brown.
Apollo deserves some love.
Mm-hmm.
He does.
He does. Dame Grease.
I was thinking about Dame when you said Swiss, actually.
KP, yeah, Dame's the guy. I like Dame more than I like Swiss. David Banner.
I'm with Banner.
I'm with that too. Let's see. The Beat Miners, DJ Muggs.
I already got Muggs down. I had Muggs a long time ago.
Good. Shawty Red.
I don't got Shawty.
Shawty Red is the father of trap music. I don't care what anybody says.
I'm with you on that, and I agree.
Mm-hmm.
Shawty Red on the track.
DJ Snake, Mathematics.
Mathematics, huh?
Mathematics.
Take them through master first.
Really?
But probably.
Let's see who else we're missing. You guys are on it in here. What about T-Mix?
No, we're doing top 50. We only got a couple more
Clark
slots.
Kent.
Huh?
Clark Kent. KLC.
Yep, Clark Kent. Oh, Clark Kent and hold on, the other cats. Huh?
KLC?
Hold on, isn't that Beats by the Pound?
Yeah.
I already got Beats by the Pound on here. Hold on, who's the other? Hold on, the Camp Low niggas.
Are you talking about So you made me forget.
EST.
Yeah, Ski. I'm sitting here. Can I get open? You know it.
Ski.
Ski's about to show it. Yeah. I love Ski, man. He did the first According to Hip Hop interview, and he made my favorite Jay-Z song.
Didn't he do Lucchini?
He did. I love that group too.
That's my favorite rap beat ever, probably.
Really?
I mean, if we're just talking just straight up and down, yeah.
Ski beats.
Yeah. I mean, like, that's the
Ski's
beat.
Awesome.
How about this? That's the beat that I hear that it's a hit no matter who raps on it, and you can still cipher to it. Like, it's the cipher beat. It is.
Oh, what do you think about 45 King, DJ Mustard, and Take Heath?
No.
No Take Heath?
Not over Mustard and 45 King.
I don't know about that. What about Zaytoven?
I'm with Zaytoven.
Some other people got to go.
Huh?
Some other people got to go.
That's why I told you this is tougher. We already we're past 50.
Look, what we're gonna do is we're gonna take this list to the Patreon, and we're gonna really make some cuts, and we're gonna bring y'all into the room on the Patreon.
You want to know what we need to do?
And then we're gonna put this out.
You want to know what we're gonna do?
And it's gonna go viral.
We're gonna set up some producer battles. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Where
it's like we're gonna put some guys who are like ranked high up against some guys who aren't as high. Like this, what I'm saying is like somebody like Timbaland. Timbaland's gonna go up against Muggs, and we're gonna see who the better producer is, and we're gonna play the shit live.
I'm with that. KG, 88 Keys. Jeez. I like 88 Keys, and KG's made. Listen, I feel like Tretch was an incredible big part of Naughty by Nature, but KG. Super important to Naughty by Nature. Those tracks are super important.
No, that's what I'm saying. KG is slept on. KG taught a lot of other guys too.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like Rock Wilder, I didn't put Rock Wilder on here.
Tyler the Creator. I like that pick because I've said before, Tyler should be producing for other artists. You remember I said that? I think it was after listening to Igor. I was like, Tyler should be out here producing for people. Maybe. Mike City. He went to the Heard It All Before. That's a great track, though. Aunt Learn with the super chat says The Alchemist, of course.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah.
All right, I think we got enough to go off of, and we can dig in the crate some more for what we don't got.
Yeah, we can do that, man. I think we're about out of time, too.
What else? I mean, what else do we have left? I think we covered most of everything that we kind of. I think we came to do it. We kind of. No. You want to know what we need to do? No. Because we're having this producer thing. I think it's perfect to kind of end it with that whole. What was it? The Kanye guest appearance on the College Dropout. Can we end it that way?
Yeah. Let's end it with that. Jay Short with the super chat says, "Y'all don't want to play quick against these dudes."
No, I mean beat for beat. How about this? As far as West Coast beat makers go, he's probably the best beat maker that ever came out of the West Coast.
Let's go to this last topic and we'll get up out of here, man.
Yeah.
Who had the best feature on the College Dropout?
So I thought about this when you said this to me, and I was thinking, well, this is one of the few albums where it's like, well, you got A players bringing A games, don't you?
And you know what? I think
really
a lot of them
were. I want to highlight what everybody is doing on this album that's so great.
I want to say this, though. I think a lot of them were auditioning for beats. They were rapping for beats. They're like, yo, I'm going to give him some heat. He going to give me some heat.
That's definitely possible. So I want to tell you what type of performances are on here. We're going to hand out some awards. These are the College Dropout Awards, Mike. Mike,
I love it.
The You Are Who I Thought You Are awards on the mic go out to. We have a tie between Ludacris and Talib Kweli. You guys on this album, you showed up, and what you did on the mic is who I thought you were. And there's nothing wrong with that because both these guys are great. Mike, the Twister performance on this album is the breakout performance. He's actually the breakout verse. The breakout verse is by Twister.
You're right. You know what? I could also say this, too. Jamie Foxx, if you want to talk about everybody who's featured. Because
we're just talking about
it gave a resurgence.
I kept it on some rap shit.
Yeah. So, yeah,
we're handing out awards.
That song actually made 3 careers.
It did. All of theirs.
Yeah.
But Twister's was the one that needed the most help. Because think about it. He had been there before Ye and Jamie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know what? And back to Kanye as a producer. He fixed that song around what Twister could do.
Yes. And then did it again with Overnight Celebrity, proving like I can do this with anybody. I'm a genius. Right. Overnight Celebrity is one of those beats he can play in verses and win too.
I know what I know, man. Yeah, he's a better producer than Dr. Dre. Dr. Dre would never go in there with Twister and center his stuff around what Twister can do. The only time Dre does that is with Eminem.
Mike, we have some Aftermath Patreon smoke for Monday. We have Dr. Dre versus Kanye, and we have whoever wants to debate our thoughts on the Black Slim Shady song by The Game.
Okay.
So whoever wants to pull up and debate us live, that's what the Patreon. We really started the Patreon and didn't do the show on YouTube about the people wanting us to play music and about people wanting to debate us live. So it's like I'm expecting people to pull up now that we got that worked out. Twista has the breakout performance. Mm-hmm. Mike, the comeback performance belongs to Common.
Definitely.
Because it was over. And this was actually the verse that brought him back. The corner didn't bring him back. This brought him back because I can remember. How about this, Mike? I can remember sitting in the studio recording me and Six's project together and playing this verse for him. And I'm like, this nigga's back. And he's like, and I remember Six turning around from the console and being like, the rhymes are back, but the flow's not all the way back yet. But it's coming. And he turned back around and kept working on the beat. So the comeback performance is Common because Six didn't even fuck with Common like that. And he was like, oh, no. He was like, that was some. He was like, I know what I heard. He's like, I don't like the delivery and the drop. He's like, but he's coming back together. The cornerstone I Am Great performance belongs to Jay-Z on this album. This is I Am Great. This is what I do. This is a cornerstone microphone performance by Jay-Z.
I'm the best rapper in the game performance, yeah.
The whole Hove's a living legend, and I'm going to tell you why. People want to be Hove, and Hove's still alive.
Yeah. Hove's a living legend, and I'll tell you why. Everybody want to be Hove, and Hove's still alive.
And it was true when he said it. When he said it, it was true. That was like I was sitting there like...
Everything he said on there was true. First I had the
everything
streets.
He said on there was true.
Now I have the charts.
That's where the whole starting off strong and you wheezing.
First I had the ear, now I have the heart. Rappers came and went. I've been here from the start. Seen them put it together, watched them take it apart. See the Rovers rolled up with ribbons. I've seen him repoed, resold, and redriven. When I reload, he holds number one positions. When you're hot, I'm hot. And when your feet cold, mine is sizzling. It's plain to see. Niggas can't fuck with me because I'm going to be that nigga for life. This is not an image. This is God-given, mixed with hard living, mixed with crystal sipping. It's the most consistent hoe. Give you the most hits you can fit inside a whole disc in. Nigga, I'm home on these charts. You niggas visiting. Jeez.
Yeah,
that's the best verse on that.
No. That's that cornerstone performance where it's like, in case you were wondering if I was lyrically great on a lyrically great hip-hop based album,
yeah.
Here's a brief reminder. That's what I mean, cornerstone mic performance. But Mike, you were right. The best mic performance. Guest-wise on this album, it belongs to Mos Def on 2 Words. And I know I didn't talk about Consequence on Freeway. They're not getting no awards today on this album, but the best mic performance on here. Guest appearance-wise, think about how great you have to be on an album that has Twista, Ludacris, Talib Kweli, Freeway, Common, and Jay on it, and you got the best guest verse. It's 2 Words by Mos Def, Mike. It's the best overall guest appearance on the album.
Quoting that Jay-Z verse made me kind of change my mind.
You and me can go back and forth on the bars. 2 Words, Mos Def, Kanye West, hot shit.
I mean, that 2 Words, United States, no love, no breaks, low brow, high stakes, crack smoke, black folks, Big Mac, fat folks, ecstasy capsules, presidential scandals, everybody move. Now, I just think that the gravity of what he's saying and the theme of the record and the backdrop of that track, because that track is definitely stronger than the track that Jay-Z's on. I think for me, the tiebreaker was the fact that Jay-Z recycled those verses from the Hobie Baby remix.
No, it's not that. Moses' verse is just better. The content's better, Mike.
The content's
better. The bar work is better. The concept is better. Like, the bar work is better. The concept is better. And he delivered. And not only did he deliver, think about this. For whatever you think of him and his effortless talents, this is still one of his probably 10 or 15 best verses.
It's epic. And then he runs off with the fists in the air and stuff like...
Think about that. This is one of his 10 or 15 best verses. Now, his 10 or 15 best verses are as good as anybody's 10 or 15 best verses. So what does that say about this verse?
Blue Collar Hustle says, Jay Ivy had the best verse on the CD, bar none. I mean, spoken word versus... Obviously, he had the most words.
And he had the most airtime, too, I believe.
He said a lot.
So he had more airtime.
He did.
These niggas got 16 and 24 and 32.
Right. And
they be stealing the bars, Mike. Niggas be stealing bars. It's like, I need 16. And it's like, I'm going to keep going, give them 24, make them reloop the track, break the shit up, do the math over, put it back again. Mike, you know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? It's like, this nigga that came in here and rapped. I got to edit 6 bars, cut the track, loop it back together, cross-fade it so it don't sound like we chopping this shit up.
Yes, Hov was talking this. Jay-Z was talking this shit on that song.
No, that's his big boy shit. That's what I mean. That's his big boy. That's what I mean when I say cornerstone verse. Not I'm coming verse. Not I've come up verse. It's like I'm here. I'm legendary. Cornerstone type of verse. It's kind of like when you hear Nas at the beginning and made you look. It's like, well, he's already here. We know who this is. We know who this is. We know what this is. We know what he's doing when he steps to the mic.
Somebody said 2 Words was produced by Evidence. No.
I want some evidence.
Is that true? Because I always say that that's my favorite Kanye produced track.
We just argued about that because I was telling you I like Spaceship and All Falls Down more beat-wise.
Where's the evidence of that? Is that
We're
real?
not going anywhere until we pull that up because we need evidence of that.
I want to see this real quick, and then we're going to get up out of here.
Yeah, we got to go.
Jay-Z does have crazy verses. Let's see. College Dropout. Was it some Ghost production? I said Evidence produced Last Call. Let's see real quick before we get out of here.
No, this 2 Words is Kanye.
Yeah. Mr. West. Yeah. But yeah, that's a great conversation, man. And quoting that Jay-Z verse, the first verse, made me think like, am I tripping? Does Jay have the best verse on here? I don't know.
No, I can see why you feel that way. See, that's the aura of Hove, though, Mike. That's the aura of like Hove, like the guy they call Hove. That's the aura of it. It's like when he drops a legendary verse, it's like, is that the best verse on the album? It's like, no. Let's check the evidence. Let's check the bar work. The bar work is Most Def.
Who else you know been hot this
and if I was ranking it, it would go in this order. It would go Most Def, Jay-Z, Common, Twista, Talib.
I don't know, man. I might put Twista above Common in this one. I think Twista's verse was so
I can't
standard.
because Common wasn't rapping like that. Like he wasn't rapping on no rap shit, Mike. He was doing a lot of happy shit. Mike.
Who else you know been hot this long? Started from nothing, but got this strong. Built the rock from a pebble. Pedal rock before I met you. Pedal bikes, got my nephew pedal bikes because they special. I think that first verse is much better.
Spitting through fires of wires, MCs retired. Got your hands up, get them motherfuckers higher.
I don't know, man. I might have to put.
He hadn't sounded like that. Like he hadn't literally sounded like that since Like Water for Chocolate. It had been a few years.
I think that rap style that he was using on Like Water for Chocolate, he never revisited, unfortunately.
He never.
If we want Common to come back to form, I would like to get Common from Like Water for Chocolate. I don't expect
all of y'all say that, but what y'all have to understand is that he was literally searching for something, trying to get somewhere with that album. And once he got there, he left it because he didn't want to retread it. It was intentional.
Because the way he rapped on 199, that's the Common style I like the most.
Me too.
And the way he rapped on The Sixth Sense, that's the way that's the Common I like the most.
You and me both. The guy that's rapping on The Sixth Sense.
Yeah.
The guy that's rapping on The Corner. The guy that's rapping on Doing It.
Well, that style on The Corner is different, but yeah, the intensity of The Corner.
That's what I'm saying. It's like, Ye got him to slow down. It's like, no, say the same shit. Slow it down. That's what Get Him High is, because he had slowed it down, but he slowed it down too much on Get Him High. On The Corner, you can tell what Ye had been telling him and showing him like had worked. Because I'm gonna tell you exactly what he was telling me. He's like, you know, this nigga Jay and this nigga Big don't use that many words when they be rapping like you do, right? Like they don't use as many words because they find the space between the beat. Because if you look at his flow sicker on beat. The flow sicker, like the space in the words, way he breathing on the track. Like Testify, like vocally, he couldn't do Testify on Like Water for Chocolate yet. You feel me? He couldn't breathe and step in and out the track like that, and fall back on it and jump back in it. Like Water for Chocolate, he's...
Yeah. Tinfoil Kofi, before we get out of here.
Yeah,
is it possible that the great producer that Kanye West is kind of put a bug in Jay-Z's ear to get him to diss Talib and Common to put some fire under him? Because he's about to go work with them? All right. Well, let's get up out of here, man. We're going to see y'all. And we're going to give y'all all the details, everything in the community section. I'm looking forward to the debates.
Yeah. We'll see y'all on Monday. For those of you who are part of the Patreon, for those of you who are not, we will see y'all on Wednesday.
Let's do it.